Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome!
Are you ready?
Welcome back!
Welcome!
Yeah, we're gonna keep the ready in there.
Yeah.
Don't take it out.
Okay.
You can't take it out, because it's
I-
all at
well,
the same time that I say welcome.
Now that you said that, I can't take it out.
Yes, yeah, of course. My name is Scott Nell.
And I'm Steve McGee.
And?
And this is our podcast.
Okay, this is your line. Every week it's your line. This is your part.
Yes,
You-
so
you
our
do this
podcast,
next
Soul
part.
of a Gamer podcast, we spend a week playing a video game while sometimes we give ourselves unique challenges in these games. We tell you all about our experiences, our first experiences, our newest experiences, and what we think about the game.
And sometimes our sexual fetishes.
Sometimes.
Yes, and we hope you
Sometimes.
enjoyed our last week game. What did we play? Murdered Soul Suspect?
Murdered Soul Suspect.
Okay, I was going to say Soul Survivor again.
You wanted to call it that.
Because he's the Soul Survivor.
Because his soul survived.
Yes. Yeah, it made so much more sense. Yeah, it was a fun time. We had a lot of fun playing that game. That game was like probably my second favorite game that we played so
Yeah.
far.
Man-eater and then murdered.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Pokemon Red was just classic, so that's the best one.
Okay. But yes, if you've enjoyed our thoughts and if you enjoy our videos and our podcasts, or if you're just listening to us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, please give us a thumbs up, a like, and a comment. Give us other games you want us to play, other games you want to hear us talk about.
Yeah, I mean, this really helps us out a lot. Any comments are appreciated. And it really, if you want to put comments that say, like, hey guys, play this game, you know, we're going to do it. We're already doing that because his wife suggested a fucking game and now we have to play it. So,
Yes, and we're playing that 2 weeks from now?
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what happens is you suggest and we probably will play it unless you're being unreasonable. Then you fuck off.
Yep, and we kind of pushed that one forward because I wanted to make sure that people know that if you do comment, we will do it.
Yeah.
And we'll try to do it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for all of you guys who have reviewed and who are watching. We really appreciate all of you.
Yeah, seriously. And let's just get down to it. So this week's game we decided was going to be Tak and the Power of Juju.
Tak
2!
Ooh.
The Staff of Dreams.
Yes.
Now this game is insanely fun. Steven, are you pulling up the back of the game?
Oh,
You just
yes.
told me. I would have just brought it.
Oh, I actually do have my game. I think it's out in the living room.
Oh, well, then we're not going to do it. But yeah, so it's a great game. If you never played the original Tak, I'll obviously play that first. But this one was way better. This one, you did a lot more in the game. You had a lot more fun. More spirits were funny. The voice casting was so good.
Voice casting was the best
Amazing voice casting.
It was so great.
And this game, I think, really went under the radar because it was considered a Nick game.
Yeah.
It was sponsored by Nickelodeon, and I don't think like it got enough credit that it deserved because it deserves a lot.
Because there actually are quite a few Nickelodeon games, but most of them are kind of those, like, really kind of bad tie-in games.
Yeah, they're not very good.
Yeah.
And they're not fun. The SpongeBob one that just got remade recently, that one I heard
that was
pretty good. But this game is phenomenal. And it is the best out of the three of them that I've played.
So in this one, it says that Tak must use the Staff of Dreams to stop himself from suffering a deep sleep.
Yeah, you know what's funny is the whole game, and we'll get to the end closer to later, but the whole game, like the beginning of the game, you start out and you're dreaming and you're in this dream world and you're
Yes.
the spirit juju. And the jujus are like, I don't even know, like gods of some
they're
kind?
kind of like mystic beings.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That help you out in the first game. Like there's flora and fauna in the first game.
Okay.
Those might be the only jujus I remember from the first game, but I'm sure there were more.
I never played the first game, so I don't know anything about it. I jumped right into this one because he said he wanted to play this one.
Yes, this was way better. But yeah, you meet all sorts of jujus in this game, and one of them you meet is a dream juju. And the dream juju is like leading you to retake the Staff of Dreams from the evil monster guy who has it, and blah, blah, blah. And then as you go along, you do all this stuff, and then you find out the dream juju wasn't a fucking juju at all.
No.
No, it was a goddamn, what's it called? Tlaylock.
Twaylock, yeah.
No, Tlaylock, because it's TL. There's no
Oh,
W
yeah,
in
you're
there.
right. It's
Tlaylock.
T-L-A-L-O-C.
But I think they really don't pronounce that T. It's like Tlaylock. Like, it's really weird, but I'm going to call it Tlaylock. It's way easier to say.
Which, Tlaylock, or however you want to say it, is actually voiced by Rob Paulson.
Yeah.
Who is Pinky in the Brain, and he's also Yakko from the Animaniacs and a bunch of other things.
He's the main bad guy from the first one, too. And at the end of the first one, you turn him into a sheep.
Yes.
And he's pretty pissed off about that. And he's still a sheep in this one.
Which you kind of do gather that throughout the game. So I didn't play the first one game, so I didn't know that, but I kind of gathered that as I was playing.
Yeah. That you fought him in the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you turn him into a sheep because you're the I don't know what the chosen son of the Poo Poo Nunu people.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because Tak is just like he's a sarcastic piece of shit 95% of the time.
Yes.
So much fun. And then the other voice actors in there, you have Locke, who's played by Patrick Warburton, who is hilarious throughout the entire game. Krunk, Joe Swanson in Family Guy. Yeah. He plays a lot of famous people. If you watch the new Lemony Snicket thing, he was Lemony Snicket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the series of unfortunate events on Netflix. Very famous. He was in Rules of Engagement, I think.
Wait, not the Jim... Oh, the Jim Carrey one was the movie.
No, movie. You're talking about the shitty movie.
Yeah, the shitty movie. Yeah.
Where Jim Carrey was still funny, but it was still a bad movie.
It was a bad movie, yeah. And then we had... Tak was Jason Marsden.
Yeah.
Which... I said last time was Chester McBadbat from Fairly Odd Parents and was Steve and he was on Step by Step. But one of the other roles that I totally forgot about him playing was he actually was Max from a Goofy movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah, I did know that. Because I talked about this game with someone else and I'm like, yeah, the main character is actually pretty famous. They were in a bunch of famous movies. And she was like, what? What movie was it? It's like the Goofy movie. She was like, what? Who did he play? I'm like, Max.
Yes,
I did actually know that one.
So I was really excited when I found that out too because I totally forgot that he was Goofy.
What's crazy is just the Nickelodeon had this amazing staff of people. Like this whole cast of voice actors that they could pull from, like from a bunch of these cool shows that we used to watch as kids, and they pulled it into a really cool game, and I really like that about it. And this game's like classic platformer. It's just like you're jumping, and sometimes you'll fight enemies, and it's always fun, but it's a little weird. When you fight the enemies, you'll use like your juju magic. You have like a ball you can throw somehow. I don't understand some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But one of the things you do is you have a throw attack, and it's like a ball of energy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where it doesn't really explain where that ball of energy comes from.
Yeah, and you just kind of sling it. With your little like club that's also a sling.
Yeah. It's got like a little hand at the end of it that holds the ball and you throw it. Yeah,
you use your like juju power ball.
But it's weird because you have a juju amount that you can use to use other abilities, and that doesn't go down when you use the ball.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, so it's very strange. It's a strange mechanic in the game, but it's fine. You only use it for certain enemies, and it's never hard. I don't know. That whole game I've got through in like 8 hours, I think.
Yeah, it's not a very long game.
Yeah.
I think most people, like, if you know how to play the game, can finish it in about 4 hours. But yeah, it took probably about 6 to 8 hours for me as well, probably.
It wasn't too bad. Some of the levels are fun too. The characters are hilarious. A couple things that I didn't like. You get this like a sling thing, and the sling thing, you grab it onto poles.
Oh, the bolas.
Yeah, and you pull yourself in, which is cool. But I never used them for anything else.
Yeah, I used them actually quite a bit when on like, especially in the dream world, because a lot of times it's on like floating platformed islands. So a lot of times I would cheese the enemies before I would even get to it.
Oh yeah, but I mean I wouldn't even worry. The enemies are so easy to kill.
Well, the other thing too that was really nice was that you could actually use it on, because those giant like thorn things coming out in the dream world that you had to destroy. It would take 3 hits with your club, but it would only take 1 with the bolus.
Oh well.
So it was a lot faster.
I know, but switching the weapons, it's almost a pain in the ass to switch back and forth, because if you forget you have your bolas out and you need your melee weapon, and then you're like, oh, I just died.
Yep.
That was cool.
So yeah, this is definitely a weird one, but
yeah, they didn't. I think when they made that, they just had the idea of like, they'll probably use this as both, and then everyone just kind of used it as not a weapon.
Yeah, so. There's a couple of different powers and stuff that I wish you could use more.
Yeah, I constantly used the speed and the power boost, which were the best. You use your juju magic to put like a little light around you, and it makes you faster and it makes you stronger, so you hit more hard. So those things that you were talking about, if you use your juju power, it's 1 hit and it dies.
Yeah, I mainly use my Juju powers for the Juju Slam and the Juju Slow Motion Karate Kick.
Oh, yeah. See, and I never used those. There was no point. It never was helpful.
Oh, no, the Slam is super useful and with giant groups of enemies, or those big giant rock dudes that, like, blast things.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Those things were easy because I just power up and I hit them and kill them in 2 hits.
I like the Slam.
But it's weird. The slam. So the way the big enemies work too, I don't know if they did this on purpose or if it was an accidental mechanic. They don't actually attack at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you have a big group of enemies all around you, you're probably not going to die because only one attack's at a time.
Yeah.
So it's really strange.
Which you also had a basic spin move attack as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice.
Yeah, you could do a lot of stuff in there, but it was interesting. Some of the other mechanics in the game, halfway through the game, you get to choose your totem monster guy, and the totem monster guy is really cool. It's I chose the dragon because you get to shoot dragon breath out, which was actually super helpful in the last level, which we'll get to in a little bit. But I don't really have a lot of marks on this game because it's so good. It's such an easy platformer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not hard at all, and it's not hard to figure stuff out.
And honestly, it's got one of the best death mechanics of any of those platforming games.
Yeah, you fall down and you go back.
You go right where you were. Like, if you fall off right here, like you're jumping to this platform, you fall off right here, you spawn right back where you were.
Yeah,
you don't have to go back to a checkpoint.
Yeah, you don't have lives that fuck your playthrough through the game, which is annoying. Having lives in the game isn't challenging, it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Because your whole point going through the game is not get up to this point and you die and now you have to restart the whole thing. It's get up to this point and try to beat it.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to learn the mechanics of that part, like in certain games, like in Skyrim, for instance, wouldn't it be helpful if you revived so you could learn the mechanics of the creature you're fighting a little bit more? You knew when to dodge, you knew when to hit.
Yeah.
Like the classic games all did that. They made it mechanic based, but they also put lives in there. So if you got lost all your lives, you're done.
Yep. You either just lose the game or have to start the whole game or go back
level,
to a checkpoint or that level.
Oh god, that was just so annoying. It's so annoying trying to learn mechanics and then having a live limit so you can't really sit there and take risks either.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm glad that a lot of games got away from the lives kind of thing.
So annoying.
Like, unless, like, I like a lot of the games that give you the option, like the permadeath option, like for those gamers who really want to push themselves.
Is Dark Souls one of those games?
I don't know if there's a permadeath option in that, but I know there's permadeath options in the Doom games.
Yeah.
Both of those. I think there's a permadeath option in the Wolfenstein games and a couple of those other
that'd be sweet, but I never would do it.
Oh no.
I feel like, no, I don't want to. I make one mistake, I close my eyes for 1 second, or I want to get a drink for 1 second, and I'm dead.
Dog jumps on your lap and bumps your controller, and you die.
Yeah,
you're right at the last level.
There's too many things that are out of your control in that aspect.
Yeah, no, it would be terrible.
Yeah. But the death in this game is perfect. It's perfect going back to the platform you fell from. Although it was a little annoying on one of the levels, you get to turn into totem animals, which is pretty sweet too.
Yes.
It's a frog,
a bear,
a warthog,
and a
squirrel, and it's so much fun. Mm-hmm. Like my favorite was the squirrel. The squirrel.
The squirrel's the best
because you get it's a flying squirrel. It's not a regular squirrel, so you get to glide around and stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of these little like
air pockets.
Like little like geyser air pockets, and you have to jump on it and you fly around.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. But the most annoying was the warthog because so the warthog's usefulness is they can be in mud. That's
and they
stupid.
Can destroy things.
Well, and they can be on the hot parts of maps.
Oh yeah.
So there's like these hot tar-like things that you have to step over, and if you're you die. But if you're warthog, somehow you're fine as long as you're rushing. But when you're rushing, you also have to pay attention because usually those are on edges, and you'll fall off the edge. And so I kept falling off the edge on this part because you have to run all the way around and make a turn, which you can't do while you're rushing. You have to stop and turn, so you have to take damage. Then you have to rush again to hit this rock into a geyser. And I kept falling off at that point because I kept rushing too far or not far enough.
And the controls for the warthog kind of sucked.
Yeah, it's hard to jump with them too. The warthog was my least favorite animal to turn into.
Yeah.
The bear was kind of lame.
Bear was lame.
You moved rocks too. That was really his big thing, was moving rocks. And you only transformed him. Oh, and sliding down.
Yeah.
Because you can't slide down as a regular person. You have to be a bear to slide.
All of the sliding sections and all the water sections when you're in like either a barrel or on the canoes and stuff, like those were some of the most challenging. They weren't like hard, but like they were so challenging.
When you do it in the
especially
Dream World.
Oh yeah,
the Dream World one was fucking horrible because there's random pockets where there's holes in the ground and you fall right through, and you have
it's
to
like Rainbow Road, but on steroids.
Yeah, and then like you have to use your juju power to float over the holes, so you have to make sure you save your juju power. and then you have to slow down and speed up and turn left and turn right, and you get hit by enemies in some of them. It's just such an annoying part of the game.
Oh, especially on the canoes when they have the enemies coming at you too.
Yeah,
that was really
I know.
bad.
I died a couple times during the first one, but then after that, I got kind of used to it.
Yeah, I think the hardest one for me was either the Dream World ones or even just the barrel one.
Yeah.
Because the barrel controls just seem to be really crappy.
Oh, yeah, that was the best. That Juju is just like, so how are you going to help me now, Juju? And he just dumps the candy from the barrel you got him and sticks you in there and throws you in the river.
Yes.
Just so stupid. My favorite, there's like a couple Jujus you meet. One of them is it's like a guy who loves candy, who has a mouth in his stomach and a mouth on his head, like a normal person with a head mouth.
Yeah.
And then like a talking mouth in his stomach.
It was almost like the mouth on its stomach like took over the body of this dumb like troll.
Yeah.
This like dumb rock troll thing, and he's like, "Oh, you'd hate being attached to someone this stupid too." And it's like, yeah.
Oh, now I upset him.
Better go get him some candy.
Yeah. And then you at the
I
end
need a lollipop.
at the end of that, you have to feed him because he can't feed himself. It's so weird.
It was so weird.
Locke comes around. He's like, "Oh, mighty Juju," and then he's like, "Feed me a licorice."
He just kind of like,
Yeah, it's very awkward.
I'm gonna walk away now.
No. Locke actually feeds him.
Oh yeah, he does feed him.
He feeds him a bunch of stuff.
He looks like so dumbfounded at first.
Yeah.
Though. He's like, oh.
Because Locke still thinks from the first game, Locke is the original choice as the chosen son.
Oh, okay.
And so in the second game, he still thinks he's the chosen son, and Tak just stole it from him.
I was kind of wondering about that.
And he's not like upset about it. He's not like a bad guy or anything, but it's pretty funny.
It's funny like when Tak first wakes up from that dream and he talks about the princess being in the dream world or whatever and needing to save her or whatever, and then like Locke's like, "A princess, I must save her," and just like runs.
Yeah. But not before waking you up with his armpit, though.
Yes, that was a very unique way to wake someone up.
Yeah, and a couple other Jujus. You meet the mind-telling one, the one that reads people's minds, which was a sweet one because it's like you have to put the totem in the Juju shrine to get them to spawn, and before you put the totem in, he just spawns, and he's like, "I knew you were gonna put the totem in there." It's just like the best one. And
he's like a very Arab genie, like very Arab stereotype genie.
And then he tells that's how you get your bolas, and you shoot them to get across the bridge that was destroyed. And Locke decides he wants to pole vault over it, and he's like, "I bet you can't tell what I'm thinking now." And the guy's like, "You are thinking, why am I doing this when I have never pole vaulted before?" And then he goes up, and he's like, "Now you are thinking, it is a long way to the bottom." And he falls straight down.
That was really good.
Yeah, the Jujus are great. Flora and Fauna, if you played the first one, they come back. They're the ones who turn you into the creatures, the bear, the warthog, the frog,
which I loved.
And the squirrel.
Fauna was the orange one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love Fauna.
Red, orange, whatever.
I loved her so much because, like, especially the second time when they offer to change you into the warthog and the bear, right? Was the second? No, it was bear and squirrel.
Bear, squirrel's first one. Warthog, frog is second.
Warthog, frog second. So on the second time, when they're describing all the things they can change you into, they're like, "You can change you into a frog," and Fauna's just like miming like what you can do with your powers in the background behind her.
Yeah, and the best is she's like, "It could change you into a cute little frog. You know, it's green." And I happen to love the color green because the Fauna is green.
Yes.
And Flora is green. Fauna's like, Oh, frogs are so cool because it's green and I'm green.
Oh, yeah.
it's so great. Those two are the best. And again, they were from the first game, so they did a really good job with those ones. I think my absolute favorite Juju, though, is the big one, the giant.
Oh, yeah.
Because you say something like, let me go. What? Your name is Mo. Nice to meet you, Mo. And as he can't hear you, and he's just saying all these things.
Open up the rift. You want a guy named Rick? Spawns a guy.
And then Rick's like, just tell me you want to meet Rick. I want to meet Rick? Oh, you want me to open the rift? It's just... That comedy, that is golden. That was so good. I love the Juju so much.
So long. You want me to sing you a song?
Yeah, it was so good. And he said something and he's like, you killed Mo. Now why would you go and do a thing like that?
That sounds bad.
It was just so
It almost reminds me of when in How I Met Your Mother, when Barney is doing the old man makeup.
Yeah.
And they're telling him he needs to stop wearing the old man makeup because he's been wearing it for like days. And they're like, you just need to let it go. He's like, what? Let it snow? I love that, Jimmy.
It's just, yeah, it's such a good little, and it's funny to kids, and honestly going back to it, I was like, this is still fucking funny.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I laughed quite a bit, and
Yeah.
like my wife was watching me play it quite a bit, and she was laughing
Yeah,
at a lot of these
it's a
things because
fun-
it's just dumb comedy.
The writers for that game just got it straight on. Like, it was the levels were interesting. Some of them were huge too. I was like, damn, this level is giant.
Some of them were, especially towards the end.
Yeah, they start getting
Like,
three-dimensional.
The guy's brother, the main flea dude brother.
Oh yeah, so the flea's name is Jaboba.
Jaboba, yes.
And
Sorry.
his brother's name is JB,
Yes.
which is, and when you meet him, Tack's like, JB, that's Jaboba's brother. Isn't that funny? He's like, why is that funny? It's like, well, because your name is JB. It's not funny that my mom named me Jaboba's brother.
Yeah. And you're like, wait, what?
I can't remember. Dan, I think, is what he wanted to be called, or Pete, or something like that. It was so funny.
Oh god, it was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that level, like getting
I
to
know,
open
that
up
was
that
so
all the electronics
cool.
and stuff.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous how long that level
Yeah,
was.
and then some of the cool parts before you get into the actual like building part when you're jumping up to it, like that was so cool. You have all these like weird platforms that are moving. It's almost like a Mario game where they're moving platforms and stuff.
It was like a mix between like a Mario game and a Crash Bandicoot game.
Yeah, seriously, it was really fun. That level was extremely, extremely fun. And
I would actually compare this game pretty heavily to like a Crash Bandicoot Spyro kind of platformer.
Yeah.
Where it's 3D in a 3D world, kind of like in Spyro, so you're not camera fixed like you are in Crash Bandicoot. But it's a lot of those same style, and you are there are missions where you are running away from the screen, which is the old Crash Bandicoot style, where you're running away from the giant balls coming at you and stuff like that.
So that was pretty cool. I mean, this game is really, I thought at the time for the 2004, 2003.
Yeah, it came out in 2004, and it came out originally on the Xbox, the GameCube, and the PlayStation.
But don't buy the Xbox version. Buy the GameCube version. The Xbox version is no good.
Yeah.
You don't want to play because it's a crashing one. It's the original Xbox was really not a good gaming system when it really down to things.
I found that out the hard way with this game because I actually bought this for the original Xbox because I still had my original Xbox, and I had the game crash so many times, and then it eventually wouldn't even let me into my games anymore.
Whereas the GameCube version, I did not have a problem. Yeah. Not a single time did it ever crash.
But then once you get an emulator for it, it's like, oh, everything works.
Yeah, well, emulators are the best.
Oh, and there was GameCube versions of these games, but the GameCube versions of the game were 2D platformers, and they were completely different, even though they had the exact same names of the game.
What do you mean?
Like they are not GameCube, sorry, Game Boy.
Oh yeah.
They had Game Boy version of this game too. I was looking up that to see if I could get whatever platform I could get it on to make it easier.
Yeah, it's just a 2D instead, and it's interesting still.
I didn't end up playing that one just because I was like, I just want to get through the actual game.
Yeah. I remember playing the Kingdom Hearts: The Chain of Memories, which maybe will make you play, and you can suffer through the same torment that I had to suffer through. And I played it on the Kingdom Hearts Xbox edition stuff. So they actually redid the whole game, which was really cool. Originally, it was for the Game Boy.
Oh,
It was like it's still a 2D kind of, but it's a 3-dimensional 2D.
Yeah.
Right? So you can move up, down, forward, and back kind of deal. And I played the original Game Boy version thinking maybe this will be easier because in the fucking other version you have to run around while you're using cards. You're playing fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! On the run pretty much, like when they go on motorcycles. But you're using cards, and I went to the Game Boy version. I'm like, this is way worse. This is way harder.
Yeah.
So I switched back, but it was just interesting that's like they could take like a game like Tak and put it completely in 2D.
Yeah.
Even though it's not anything like what the game was made to be.
Yeah, and honestly, like I don't think this game would have been too hard to make on Game Boy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Game Boy was weird. They didn't have. They had to do sprites instead of
Oh, I guess that's true.
Yeah, they don't have the 3D element characters, so they're all sprites, which makes it a little bit harder. And Game Boy did not have a lot of.
Because I know the Game Boy Advance actually had some Spyro and Crash games that were kind of decent, especially the ones where they cross platformed into each other's worlds.
Yeah. Well, and they look kind of good, but they're never going to look as good as they did on.
Well, I wasn't expecting it to look the same, but being the same name and the same title, I thought it was going to be the same game.
Yeah, it's not like now you take your Switch and you're like, wow, this looks amazing.
Yeah, right?
It's a fucking handheld. It's way different, but yeah, this game is so much fun, and just the coming into the end now. So you do all this platforming stuff, you get the Juju's help. Your goal of the game is to get the Staff of Dreams, and then after you defeat the monster, Tlaloc says like, "I was the Dream Juju," which you kind of figured something was up because people kept saying there is no Dream Juju.
Yeah.
And he takes half of the staff, which is like the nightmare part.
Yes.
You take the dream part, which was pretty. I was like, of course, there's a nightmare and a dream part to this. Why wouldn't there be? And you follow his minions around, which his minions in the first one were super annoying, and in this one they're equally as fucking annoying.
Needles and
pins, I think.
Yeah, pins and needles.
Pins and needles. So needles and pins and needles. There's a part in there, and I hated this so much. This was such a hard part of the game, where you're following. Yeah.
Oh.
So you have to go through, and you're following pins and needles as they're in a portal, because you're following them by going through portals and randomly ending up in the dream world. That's how you get on the dream river and stuff. And you go into one portal, and finally they're just there in the portal hanging out, shooting stuff at you, and you have to follow them through, and you have to turn into every kind of animal while you're doing it.
Yes.
And the worst one was the fucking warthog, because I kept falling, because you can't jump well off the lava stuff. So you're the warthog, and then I think you're the frog.
Yes.
And then the bear, and then the squirrel.
Well, and then there's a couple times where you're like one animal, or you're your normal self, and then you'll have to like go down like a zip line and then change into the frog. Like,
mid zip, yeah. The worst one was the frog, because the mechanics for like you have to shoot out your tongue to grapple onto big fireflies, whatever the fuck they are, dragonflies,
something.
And you have to kind of turn your body as you're doing that, but you can't let go of the action button, because if you do, the tongue goes away.
Yeah.
And then you press the action button again. But as you're turning, it doesn't always work. You don't always get to press the action.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Sorry, guys. Had to sneeze. But yeah, and that was the most annoying part, going through as a frog and trying to like hit every single one every single time. I died once doing that, and then I finally got it.
I think I died maybe at like 2 different times with it. But
yeah.
Just because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, the squirrel one was the easiest one. All you had to do is avoid the rocks, and that was really simple. And then lining up, you had to fall all the way down and line up with the portal, and that wasn't hard at all.
It was crazy how many different worlds they made you travel through while chasing pins and needles.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of annoying to me.
Yeah, a little bit annoying. You go to like a frozen zone, then like a desert zone, like a mountainous zone, a lava zone, like...
And then you're just like, how many worlds are we going to go into before I actually fight them? Like, this game should have ended a little while ago, I feel like.
My favorite part, it's like, I think... Tlaloc's lair is just like fucking Banjo.
Oh.
Where the lair is like his face or a face of something. It's like a skull or something.
Yeah, it was something
like,
weird.
So fucking dumb. God damn it, don't do this.
That was just the old school way, you know. All the villains had to have like
it's a
something
mountain. It's
that
a mountain
with
their face on it. That's their lair. I wonder where their lair is.
It's either that or it's a giant building with their name on it.
Yeah, seriously.
Like LexCorp, Oscorp.
Yeah. My favorite is I'm playing Paper Mario right now, Thousand Year
nice.
Door.
I haven't played any of those yet.
Yeah, so I played the first one and I beat it and I liked it a lot, and the second one's way better.
Okay.
But there's literally a tree you go into and you have to like, you know, everything's paper, so you do like paper mechanics, and one of the things you do is you blow wind and it moves pieces of paper that have like secret entrances.
Oh, okay.
And you blow a piece of paper away and it says secret entrance. And I'm like, okay, fuck you guys. Yeah, that's just awesome. the way they do that shit and all these older games, because that game came out in like 2004 too, I think. So.
Well, and a lot of these games are built towards kids and stuff,
yeah.
so obviously
I don't know about that one. You meet like this like wind spirit with these giant tits, okay? And she's like, honey, I want some of that mustachio. And I'm just like, Jesus, I would have played this when I was 12.
I mean, I feel like a lot of those games have something for if an adult's playing with them or helping their kids out.
Yeah, I guess.
It's just like most kids' movies have adult jokes in them.
Yeah, but still, it was a little far.
Like, Shrek's got some of the worst adult jokes of all time.
Yeah, that one was pretty obvious. But, some of them are a little bit more
hidden.
Not hidden, but like disguised.
Yeah.
Where the kid won't know what the hell's going on, but the parents
Exactly.
know exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Like in Powerpuff Girls when she's like, oh, yeah, the professor accidentally made us in a bat, and the neighbor's like, my parents said I was an accident too. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like, so like a kid wouldn't pick up on that. They wouldn't get what that means, but an
love
adult
that.
would, yeah. But yeah, so you follow them through this portal, and then you fight them, and this is where the dragon came in handy. So
Yes.
you get to choose between like 4 spirit animals. It's like
it was
eagle.
dragon.
God, the other 2 were dumb. Bear, maybe.
I have it on my phone.
Yeah. So yeah, you get to choose between 4 spirit animals, and they all have different powers. Now, I think when I was a kid, I played the eagle, but this time I chose the dragon, and I'm so glad that I did.
It's eagle, dragon, piranha, and jaguar.
Oh yeah, the other 2 were weird. It's like, why would you choose piranha? But I don't know what they did, so I don't know what any of them did except for the dragon.
So this is stupid because on the Tekken the Power Juju wiki, it doesn't really tell you a lot. It just tells you the pros and cons of the abilities, so it doesn't even tell you what the abilities do. It says for eagles, it's a powerful long range and only hits one enemy. But what it does is an eagle flies and picks up that enemy and takes them away.
Oh, that's sweet.
So like like the shamans that summon the
shamans
woodies.
would be a great thing.
So if you did it on a woody that was summoned by the shaman, he couldn't summon another one because he technically never died.
Oh.
So he couldn't revive them.
So you use it on the shaman when there's 2 shamans that can't just keep fucking reviving
Yes,
each other.
exactly. Then it said, the dragon hits multiple abilities, like you said. It says it's kind of weak, but short range, and doesn't always kill.
No, but it's actually the best one for the final boss.
The piranha is a long range, powerful attack, only hits 1 to 3 enemies.
Yeah.
And then I actually was kind of interested in going back through and playing with the jaguar power, because it says the jaguar power is actually really overpowered. It insta-kills and hits multiple enemies.
Oh,
but
that's
it's short
sweet.
range. And I'm like, it insta-kills and is AoE?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been really nice, actually.
I chose the dragon because I knew it was fire. And one of the last bosses, you fight like 20 last bosses.
Yes.
So the first pins and needle fight, you fight them and they'll come out of the portal and you hit them and then they run back into the portal and then you do that for a few times and then they make copies of themselves and they're
Yes.
invisible. And so when they did that, I stood in the middle, they all crowd me, and then I fire all around me.
Oh, I just did the ground slam thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
The fire all around me, it hits him instantly and it kills him.
Yeah.
And then the second one did the same thing. It was so easy.
Yeah.
So much
No, those are
easier.
really
yeah.
easy.
And then you fight Talaylock. It's the best fight in the world, the first fight.
The first fight, I thought this was like a prank. I was like, this cannot be the end battle.
I was
like,
hoping
what
so
the
much it
hell?
was the end battle.
Oh my gosh, because seriously what happens is he comes out as a sheep and Locke actually, like, you got the Staff of Nightmares from Pins and Needles, and then Locke comes up and takes the staff, and then like
He's
Tarlok
like,
randomly
I'm
comes up
here to
behind him.
save the princess with his skeleton. There's another Juju in there that's like
Skeleton. He's
it's like the swamp Juju, I think.
yeah, he's a skeleton that's wearing like a Hawaiian t-shirt.
Yeah, and he's
almost
like all about
Benny from
oh no,
Halloween
he's
Town.
the party Juju.
Yes, that's
because
right.
remember he can make like party favors and stuff. He's like, I can make you a good bowl of guacamole. Like, it's just
So yeah, but
he's such a good Juju.
Talak comes up behind Locke and it's just like, hey, can I have that staff? And he's like, oh yeah, here, sure. And Talk's like, no.
Yeah, he gives Talaylock the staff. You're like,
What?
God damn it, Locke.
Like, we just beat him. Like, there's no way he can win now because
Yeah.
it's just a sheep, and we have both the Staff of Dreams and the Staff of Nightmares, but he just gives it to him.
Yep.
And then Talaylock goes up on this platform, and then all of a sudden you have to fight 9 black sheep.
No, the best part before that is
Oh.
he's talking, he's like, you can't defeat me, and then he drops the staff out of his mouth and like, yes I can. He picks it back up. It's like, no you can't. And then he drops it again. Yes I can. He picks it back up. And he's like, oh yeah, you and what army? And then he drops it like, who told you about my army? That's just the best.
And then, yeah, it cuts and you're fighting 9 black sheep, and they don't do anything.
And you think like they're going to chase you or something
Yeah.
or hit you, but they don't. They run from you if you get close to them.
And you'll have to knock him off the edge of
Oh,
this platform.
it's the best final boss of all time.
And then all of a sudden he jumps down, and you just run up to him and hit him
Yeah,
off
yeah.
the edge, and you're like, did I just beat the final boss with one hit off the edge
Yep.
of this freaking building?
And I think at that point, no, maybe it's the next fight. So you do another fight with him, but at some point he's like, Jaboba comes in and says, "You've done attack. You have defeated the last boss. You have beaten the game." And then the credits start rolling, and then they stop and they go, "Just kidding," and you fight another boss. And I was like, that's cold.
Yes,
that's so cold.
Actually needed you to kind of kill him.
Yeah, to become more powerful in the Nightmare Realm.
Because he wasn't in his sheep body in the Nightmare Realm anymore because he died or whatever. So yeah, he became more powerful and he turns himself into a dragon.
No. So he turns not really a dragon. So the Nightmare boss you fight earlier in the game to get the Staff of Dreams, he turns himself into that. And then you turn yourself into one with the Dream Staff, which apparently you could have done all along.
Seriously.
Serious fuckingly. I was so mad.
Like, if we've had this much power, why did we not use
Why the
this?
fuck did I use a Dream Catapult, not a fucking Dream Monster?
Yeah, why am I not just throwing fireballs everywhere?
Yeah, and I realized the catapult was before you got the staff, but still, I'm still pissed off about it. But yeah, then you fight as monsters, which was kind of cool because he like fires at you and you catch them.
Yes.
And you throw them back, so at first, the first way I was doing it is you catch one and you throw it and then you can catch multiple later.
Oh, yeah.
So you can catch two and then he stops and he fires at you so it's easier to hit him, but then you get hit. But if you just keep catching one, you can just time it with him running and he never stops to try to hit you again.
Which is awesome. And it's honestly the best way to do it because in which you have to hit him 3 times the first time, then 5 times the second time.
But if you catch 2, it's only twice.
Oh, okay.
And if you catch 3 in the third time, it's again only twice.
Oh, okay.
So.
But yeah, it was just... he gets faster every time, too.
He gets more erratic with his movements and stuff, and that was weird, but that was a cool boss battle. I will say that one was actually interesting.
I felt it kind of a little lackluster. It was almost like
that's why it wasn't the final one. That's why you defeat him, and you're like, I've done it again.
So I stopped there because it started playing the credits. So there's more after that?
So that's where the credits, I think, stop.
Oh my god! So I didn't actually even finish this game.
No, so that's not the final boss, and that's why they made it such a lackluster fight.
Okay.
Because that's the point where he says, "You've done attack. You've defeated the final boss," and then the credits start rolling. And if you wait
it off.
Well, if you wait 2 seconds, you do another fight, which is way more annoying. So he captures the party Juju, Locke, and Jaboba.
Oh, jeez.
And then summons creatures, and the creatures attack them. So you have to defeat the creatures before they kill them, and then you have to trade bodies with them, which I don't understand.
Weird.
Yeah, how you do it, but somehow you're trading bodies with them, and then they fight as you.
Okay.
Yeah, with their own little weapons, like the bone guy has a piece of his leg or something.
Interesting.
Jaboba has his cane.
Okay.
And but the best part is before you go into the dream world, I love that fucking little animation where Jaboba's like, "Don't worry, Tak. There's a reason I was the shaman for the Pupu Nunu for so long." And he looks all badass, and then he goes to hit them, and he's like barely touching them. It was so good. So you defeat all the monsters, and then he comes down eventually, and you have to. Like, every time he attacks, you have to do something, and then he comes down, and you hit him once, and then he goes back up. He attacks again, and you have to do something, and he comes down, you hit him, and you have to do that 4 times.
Oh, okay.
So it's really a little bit of an annoying final battle, but it was way harder than the previous 2.
I'm really mad that I didn't actually get to finish this.
So that's the ending.
I was wondering what you're talking about.
Oh, do you know then you don't know what the whole game was, do you?
Probably not.
Okay, so after you do that, the credits don't roll.
Okay.
Everyone's congratulating you, calling you the greatest hero of all time, and then you see feet in your face.
Okay.
And you wake up.
So, no, that was just a dream.
All of it was just a dream.
Oh my god.
The entire game was a dream, and Tak was like...
I hate that stuff.
Yeah, and Tak was like, "You were all in my dream," because it's that same opening sequence where he's the armpit, instead it's his feet.
I hate that stuff. I hate that stuff. I have hated that stuff ever since the show Lost.
Yeah.
Like, Lost did it the worst, but I hate all of that. Like, Twilight Break Dawn also did that.
No, I don't know. I've never seen it.
They had an entire epic fight sequence. Like, the entire movies, like, they're whatever you want to think about them or whatever, but the last movie was actually, like, had a lot of action in it, and they had this, like, 12-minute long battle, and it was amazing. Like, 50 people died. Like, a bunch of the Colons died, a bunch of the Volturian died, and it was this really amazing fight, and then all of a sudden it goes back, and it's like, it was just one of the vampires showed a vision to the leader of the other...
What it could be.
Of what it could be.
Oh, that's like that fucking Nicolas Cage movie.
Is that Next?
Maybe.
With the one with the...
Where he can see the future, I think.
But only 2 minutes ahead at a time?
No, but he didn't see 2 minutes ahead.
Yeah.
Because remember, he goes, it's like the first part of the movie, and then it keeps going, and then it comes back, and it's still at the first part of the movie, and he saw the entire movie, and he's like, I know
it was so dumb, because...
such a shitty movie.
Throughout that entire movie, he's like, I can only see 2 minutes into the future.
Yeah.
And so you see all the spawns of him in every possible way for 2 minutes, and then he takes the best possible way every time. But it shows all the different varieties of what he could do. But then he sees the whole movie,
he sees... and then the nuke blows up at the end, I think, and it kills everybody, and then...
I don't even know.
Yeah, so that's the whole premise of the movie, is you're trying to stop this nuke from exploding, I think, and then it explodes, and you're like, oh, shit, so that's the end of the movie, and then it goes back to him, and he's like I know what's gonna happen.
It's like a time loop. It seems like that movie was like a time loop paradox, where he always ends up doing everything the same way, and he thinks he's studying the same of the day, but he ends up just
it seemed like back. It, but then it just realized that, oh shit, the first time he used it was literally him going into the future the entire time.
Yeah.
Like that, I was like, this is fucking horseshit.
Yeah.
You know, who made this movie, and fuck you, Nicolas Cage.
Seriously.
Go burn down another shitty house, you shit actor.
Hey, he's actually gotten a lot better.
Has he? He's still a shit actor to me.
I don't know if you watched the movie Mom and Dad. That movie, it's on Netflix. It's with him and Selma Blair.
Is he the main? Is he the lead?
Yeah, him and Selma Blair are the leads. Which Selma Blair was the girl from Hellboy's girlfriend.
Yeah.
But in that movie, they have 2 kids, and there's a frequency that's played broadcast across every device in the entire world, and that frequency switches the thing in your brain that makes you have the protective instinct of your offspring. So now it flips it so you actually want to kill your offspring.
Oh, weird.
So everyone's mom and dad in the entire world is trying to kill their kids. And only their kids. They're not trying to kill anyone else. They're only trying to kill their kids.
Weird.
And it is Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage at his best.
Okay.
Like at one point,
maybe I'll check it out.
At one point he grabs a Sawzall. One of those electric saws with the tiny little blades or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's running after his kids. He's like, it's a Sawzall! Because it saws all! And it's just so perfect.
Nicolas Cage, you fucking loser. He's such a loser. I'm sorry.
It's so perfect!
He's a complete loser.
And he was in a bunch of like indie films recently.
And I hate that he's like, everyone's like, he's a national treasure. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
He was in National Treasure.
Yeah, but they say he is. That's a big fucking running bullshit joke. He's a complete piece of shit. But yeah, so that's the end of the game. You get to it and you realize it was all just a dream.
Dumb.
But then I think at the end, I want to say something's following you.
Oh,
makes you think it wasn't a dream or something.
Probably something
there was some real semblance of it, or something like that.
Okay.
But no, you see a black sheep.
Oh,
you see one of the black sheep, his army of sheep. So maybe the dream was preparing you for the army of sheep that's coming.
Yeah. Well, and that's funny too, because the first time you get the Staff of Nightmares back, you actually give it back to that dragon or whatever it was that you took the Staff of Dreams from, and you're like, sorry! And he opens up a portal for you whenever you can go back. But I thought that was kind of funny too. And I think one of the other funniest parts for me was the first time you do make it to JB's place.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get him to go back into the dream world so they can scan his brain. They're like, all right, we just need to go to sleep. And you'll fall asleep in 1, 2, whack! Yeah, right. So just smash him over the head.
Jaboba's a flea the entire time too. I don't know if we mentioned that, but Jaboba's like the original shaman and you're a shaman in training, but you're the like chosen shaman or something, and he shows you the ropes and he becomes a flea on your shoulder that you use to bite animals to get them to do what you want. But you only use that mechanic like in the mid part of the game and then never again.
Yeah, you use it like once at the beginning, and then you use it for all those sheep
to turn. You use it for the squirrels to throw the nuts at each other, but then you don't use it anymore.
Yeah, no,
so
it's
they
really
got
weird.
rid of it. Yeah, it's really I think they put too many aspects in there, like the changing of the animals, the flea, the juju spirits. It's a lot of stuff they put in there, and they couldn't like keep up with it and remember to continue putting more stuff in. So.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of things they added to the game, and a lot of the different things. Like, there's even, like, I didn't figure out at first that you needed to, like, jump hit the beehives to get them to follow you to have the bees attack the alligators in the water and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's just a weird, because they never continued those mechanical things later on. Like, there's nothing like that in the later levels at all. Instead, they do the dream stuff.
Like, if all of the things you learned throughout the game ended up being in the final battle somehow, like each one of those things, I think it would have paid off a lot more.
Yeah,
but you said, just not using them past the midpoint, it just kind of sucked.
And I get it, I guess. You only use them when you need them. There's not going to be bees in the mountains, you know.
True.
I guess I understand, but it was just interesting that they chose not to put them in later. But, you know, games lose designers all the time, so maybe someone designed these weird things and then just he quit or left or
the other
fired.
thing that took me forever to figure out was on one of the first levels with the mouth juju guy. You had to go get this barrel of candy, but to get to this barrel of candy, you had to like get this bear to go to this certain place, and then I kept on trying to jump off of the bear and glide over to where I needed to go, but I could never get the distance.
Yeah, you have to
and then
jump twice.
finally, I was like. I wonder if you just have to keep bouncing higher on it. If you keep bouncing on the bear, it'll bounce higher and you can fly further. So I bounce, and then he grabs me, and I was like, oh, great, I'm dead. And then he just throws me over there, and I'm like, that's what I'm supposed to do all along? Yep. This is so dumb.
Yep, that's why you always give it 2 bounces. It's the best. I like that, actually. I like that mechanic of the game. I thought that was pretty cool.
It was cool once I figured it out, but it was annoying.
That you have to bounce up there, and then the bear just fucking throws you, and he's like, stop bouncing on my stomach, you piece of shit. Getting some of the secret stuff, though, I don't...
Oh, yeah.
So the secret stuff was interesting, because all it really did was unlock multiplayer options.
Yeah, which I didn't play any of the Dinky games.
No, I don't. There was no point, because it's all multiplayer.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, there are high score stuff that you can do, but it's mostly a multiplayer stuff that you can do in the game, which was fun when you had people to play it with, but when you don't have people to play it with, really not that fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, everything was... Yeah, I think every single unlockable was for the Dinky games, wasn't it? Yeah.
The big head mode, you could play the mode where you played the final boss, where you're the 2 creatures like shooting each other.
Okay.
You can do the catapult mode, like the racing mode, the river mode.
Okay.
All that stuff's unlockable, which is pretty cool, but it's also really annoying that you have to go through that game and find all the unlockable stuff to play the full multiplayer. That's a little annoying to me.
The catapult's driving was a little meh as well.
Yeah, that was my least favorite levels were the catapult.
My least favorite thing in this game that I wish they did better on was aiming. Aiming in this game was kind of just...
But what do you really need to aim?
Well, I mean, even just aiming the catapults, or aiming the
you have to be
things.
in their hitbox area or whatever.
Yeah, because like there's so many times where I was like trying to hit something and it would just like go off like this direction. I'm like, I just want to hit this. Like, can I hit this guy?
Yeah, especially in the catapults, really noticeable when you're fighting some of the dream spirits or dream things, when you're trying to shoot them to stun them and then hit them.
Yeah, the one that turns invisible when it gets close to you.
Yeah, but then the thing goes way off to the right and you're like, I was fucking looking at it.
Yeah,
Let me hit it.
I'm right at it. And now it turned invisible, so now I have to run away again, but I'm on this tiny platform, so I have to get him to chase me all the way to this end. And then one to the other end, so he doesn't turn invisible again, so I can stun him. I'm like, this is so dumb.
My least favorite was those twirling things that would hit you off. Those were so hard.
The brains, actually. The mind flare kind of brains.
No.
I hated those.
Oh, yeah, those were easy. Too. You just jump and hit, and then died.
I'd always miss when I jumped and hit somehow. And I'd always end up, like, I'd have 2 come at me, and I would hit one, and then the other one stuck on my brain as soon as I got... I'm like...
It took me a while to figure out that you had to let those spinning things just die on their own.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this is fucking stupid. Why can't I kill this thing? Do I jump on it like in fucking Mario? What the fuck do I do? And then it just falls right off, and you're like, oh, okay.
I think I died like 5 different times to the first big guy that shot those giant purple blasts at you.
Like I said, as long as you're using the power boost, you kill those things 2 hits.
I couldn't get up to him at first.
Speed boost, run around, he stops, and then you hit him.
I always forgot to use my Juju a lot, and or I would use it a lot for like a lot of the smaller things and be out of Juju and have to wait until I could get
some of the air stuff was annoying too.
Yeah.
Doing some of the squirrel stuff, I died a lot doing the squirrel stuff. Because in that final one, especially when you have to...
it doesn't really show you where to go.
No, it doesn't. And you go in, you go up, and you're like, all right, I'm going to hit this next air pocket. And then you miss somehow, and you're like, okay, and then you die, and you have to fight everything you just killed again. Because every time you die, everything spawns back.
Yes.
And it's super annoying.
And you're constantly using mana the entire time you're transforming as an animal, too. So you have to keep getting the feathers and stuff to keep your mana.
So
up.
feathers and like little green orbs heal you and heal your mana.
Yes.
And if you're using all your mana while you're transform, you'll untransform and you'll die probably because almost all the time you're in situations that could kill you.
Yes.
So
Always.
always.
But yeah.
But yeah. Other than that, I think that's it I have to say about the game. I mean, it was a fun game. I had a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah,
Honestly.
actually, like, it was better than I was expecting it to be, especially when I saw it was a Nickelodeon game, and I was like, oh gosh, is this just like a spin-off game from a TV series?
No. Actually, this started the TV series.
Which is way better, honestly. Because a lot of those spin-off games, like, I really wanted to get into the Avatar The Last Airbender games and the Legend of Korra games, but they're just so lackluster.
Yeah.
And
I remember when I was a kid, there was a cool Avatar Last Airbender game where you're a random random earthbender or waterbender in the Earth Kingdom. And you're part of like a resistance army. And it was an online game. And I'm like, why didn't they fucking continue this?
That sounds awesome.
It was actually a lot of fun, but it was hard to play when I was 11 years old or whatever.
I'm waiting for this. There's the coolest thing with Avatar The Last Airbender for games. There's a guy, I don't know if you've heard of the game Dreams. It's this game where you actually build games in this game.
Oh, interesting.
And people can play your games. Yeah. But this guy created an entire Avatar The Last Airbender game with, like, it's perfect. Like, even all of the cast and creators of Avatar The Last Airbender has checked out this game, and they're like, this is stunning. This is gorgeous. Like, you can do everything that you can do in the show, and he's built, like, almost the entire world.
Nice.
And you can actually, like, fly around. You can use your glider.
So you're Aang?
You can be anybody.
Oh, cool.
You can be Aang, you can be Momo, you can be... You can even, like, take the penguins out and slide on the penguins and stuff. Like, you can do almost anything you can do in the show. Like, from what I've seen of it, it's actually, like... if this becomes, like, an actual game, which a lot of people are pushing for this guy to get actual funding...
Yeah.
And seeing if Nickelodeon will team up with him... And if this becomes an actual
Nickelodeon's
game...
done with games.
If they did that, though, it would sell.
They're not like their heyday they were in the early 2000s, you know?
No, but they're still trying to be in the game world. I mean, look what they're doing with the Smite.
I mean, yeah, Smite, and they're partnering with Netflix, trying to get some of their cartoons a little bit more updated, which was cool. I watched the...
well, now that
Rocco.
Nick Cannon's not a whole owned Nickelodeon anymore again... We can actually... I think we're getting back... Nick Cannon actually was the CEO of Nickelodeon for a long time.
Oh, was he? He doesn't own it then. That's just CEO.
Well, sorry, CEO. But he was in charge of a lot of things, and he didn't do anything with games, really.
Yeah.
And now that he's out, a lot of things are picking back up for games and their shows and stuff again. I'm like, thank God.
Bring in some of those writers from fucking Fairly Odd Parents and from Jimmy Neutron. Like, all the greatest shows that when we were kids were so much fun to watch.
Yeah. Which they had revelations in Fairly Odd Parents that were pretty crazy too recently.
Yeah. Oh, did they?
Yeah. Apparently Timmy made a secret wish that made everyone stay the same age. No one ever aged again. He had Cosmo made the secret wish. And then he made Cosmo forget that he made the wish.
Oh.
And Jorgen ended up finding out somehow. And he came up to Timmy. He's like, how long has this been this way? And Timmy's like, I've had this world this way for 50 years. So kept everyone the same age for 50 years.
That's amazing. That's deep.
No, it really is. It's really cool.
Cartoon.
And honestly, like, it explains a lot, and it explains how the series could go on as long as it has without them aging at all. And it's a good way of doing it without them being dead or a dream or whatever. Like, it's really a cool way to do it. But
it kind of cancels out some of the movies where they show them in the future.
Yeah, the only one that kind of shows him in the future, I think,
when he goes into the TV.
Yeah, but he ages himself with the remote.
No, not just that. Remember, it shows the end of it.
Oh, it does show the future,
It shows him
Timmy.
Married to whatever, Vicky's sister.
Tootie.
And then with his kids have Wanda and Cosmo. And then it's like father, like son.
That's right.
Because he's acting just like his dad. Because he's going, he's like, these goldfish look familiar.
Maybe it's like animes and the anime movies never tie in together.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, so what would you rate this game, I guess, on our rating system?
Honestly, like I would say this game's pretty worth it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, especially because of all the voice acting, like the cutscenes and everything. I laughed almost every single
Yeah, yeah.
time. Like it was a lot. It took me back to a lot of those old Nickelodeon days with like Danny Phantom and Jimmy Neutron and all those things. And just like I love Jason Marsden
Yeah.
and Patrick Warburton so much. Like those two
Patrick
voice actors
Warburton is the
are
best.
fantastic.
He is the best.
And so I actually really enjoyed just hearing them the entire time, and I love both of their voice acting throughout the entire game.
Oh, for sure. I would say I'd have to agree. Worth it. Worth it 100%, except don't buy it on Xbox.
Yes.
Do not buy it on the original Xbox.
Which, I mean, you can get it on Amazon. I even, like, the copy I got was basically new, and it didn't have a single scratch on it and everything.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it sucked on Xbox, and I've heard a lot of other people complain about it on Xbox,
Yeah.
but you can get it for, like, $5-6
Yeah, we bought it
online,
for $7, I think.
and it's totally worth it.
Ideally,
and it's
have
just so
Prime
fun.
when you buy it, because it took like 2 weeks for it to get to me, and it took 2 days to get
It
to
took
him.
2 days for me,
Although
yeah.
mine ended up working and his didn't, so fuck you.
It's because I got it on an
Yeah.
Xbox, because I sold my GameCube years
Yeah.
ago like a dumbass.
GameCube's the best. It's the best aged. You know what I just watched too? I wanted to tell you about this.
What's that?
This fucker. So he was making the ultimate GameCube.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know they released all this shit for the GameCube. Okay.
Okay.
So I knew about the Game Boy. The attachment for the GameCube that lets you
Yes.
play your game. You know, it's just like the one on N64,
Yes.
where it's just a mini Game Boy you can plug into the controller.
Same with the Super Nintendo too.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. So in the GameCube, it was an attachment that goes on the bottom of the GameCube.
Oh, okay.
Because on the bottom of the GameCube it's like a bunch of openings that you
Oh,
can open up,
interesting.
and it's just attachments that can plug right in. So
That's
that's
cool.
what it plugs right in, which was really cool. So you can play Game Boy on it, right? It also has a battery pack.
Oh, interesting.
So you get a battery pack and you stick it at the bottom of that thing of the Game Boy player because it all stacks, which is fucking
Okay.
sweet. And now you can take your GameCube on the go. Now, what's the point in that, you may ask? Well, there's a screen that attaches to the back of the GameCube
What?
that you can actually play GameCube on the go.
That's amazing.
And this is all innovative shit. And at the time, they were talking about the price of it, and they had like the controller they bought. So they had these like pro controllers. It was
Yeah.
one of the first systems with wireless controllers.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't the first.
No.
But it was one of the where the controllers were becoming mainstream.
Yes.
So he bought the controller, and he's like, that cost $180.
Oh, jeez.
So I bought one of the off-brand ones for like $15.
Okay.
There's a big difference, and it works just the same.
Nice.
It's not as nice, of course, because
Okay.
it's not made by Nintendo.
Yeah.
But so he bought that $180. GameCube was like $80. The battery pack I think was only $30.
Okay.
So it retained its value. It was about $30
Yeah.
10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever. The screen attachment $300.
Holy shit.
At the time when they sold it, I think it was like $70.
Wow.
The battery or the GameCube attachment, the GameCube Game Boy attachment,
Yeah.
$190.
Jeez.
At the time, again, like $50 for
Yeah.
it. So, and he made the ultimate GameCube. The wireless
That
controllers.
sounds pretty
He
awesome.
could play it in his car. And I was like, all right, this is cool, except I can just put all this on my laptop with a Pro controller from Xbox and
Yes.
have it do 10 times better.
Oh, yeah.
It's still pretty fucking sweet.
No, that sounds
Yeah,
pretty
I was
awesome.
like, oh my god, how did GameCube have the foresight to be like, we're gonna make this the best fucking game system
I saw
ever?
something really funny with GameCube
Yeah.
and the new Xbox Series X, actually. Someone put their GameCube on top of the Xbox Series X, and it's the exact same dimensions,
Yeah.
like width-wise and everything. And they're like, look, it's a perfect stand for my GameCube.
Yeah, I've been debating. I don't think I'm gonna buy the Series X.
I'm going to.
I don't know yet. It's a hard decision to make. I always wait a little bit though because there's always problems
You
in the
don't-
beginning.
You don't need it if you have a good PC.
Yeah, honestly, PC is gonna be. There's
The-
no exclusives that are coming out that are amazing for Xbox because even Halo's not
Halo-
going to be an exclusive anymore.
Still is.
It starts out as one and then it switches over to PC.
Oh yeah. Well,
So-
all of Xbox stuff's going to be on both.
Yeah, because they're doing more partnerships because
Yes.
they realize we're missing out on a big market.
But they also, because they bought all of Bethesda, they might have exclusives with that they're talking about.
So with like Elder Scrolls,
They might have
and
Elder
Fallout,
Scrolls and Fallout V,
which
which they're talking
honestly,
about in New Vegas too.
Think about the last Elder Scrolls game. Well, Bethesda didn't make Vegas.
Well, no, it was Obsidian, but they
Yeah.
also have Obsidian
Yeah,
because they just did Outer Worlds with them.
yeah, but they don't own them. They just partnered with them.
Oh, now they're partnered. I know, but they're partnered with them, and they own Bethesda now, and both.
I wouldn't mind
Bethesda
as long as they include Obsidian. But Obsidian, like I did Outer Worlds, I played it and it was not.
It was good.
I liked it. I
it.
got to a part where I got completely stuck where I couldn't do anything more.
I got to a point where I just wasn't into it as much anymore.
Oh, it was still fun. I just hated that you couldn't romance anyone, which I don't know why that matters. Because I'm like, well, I'm missing actually fucking a computer character right now. But yeah,
honestly, like my favorite part was just the Pavarti.
Oh yeah, because she's lesbian.
Yeah, and setting her up with that girl
with the
was
girl
so
from
great.
the satellite place.
That was like the cutest thing ever. It was so awesome.
This is so fucking cool. And then she wrote her a poem, and I'm like, this is a shit poem.
It was, but like it was one of those things that didn't feel like, because a lot of things in media just like they throw in a lot of gay and lesbian
just to
things
say we support it.
Yeah,
which is fine. I like that. At the same time, it doesn't really fit in the game.
Yeah,
which is the problem. But that fit in really well.
No, it was because it was written for it. It wasn't forced into it. Like the lesbian kiss at the end of Star Wars, Rise of the Skywalker. A lot of people thought that was really forced. Like there was just one scene where they just kept on showing these two random girls every once in a while, and then at the end, when everything wins, they run up to each other and they kiss.
Oh, I guess.
Like in the background. And it's like
I didn't care about that because that one was more like I think they were just copying like the pictures of after World War II ended, where everyone's like kissing and celebrating and stuff, and that's fine. But other stuff, there was something else where like it was so forced in there, and I'm like, why in the world? It was a game I played where at the end of it was Korra. Because at the end of Korra, she's in the lesbian, which I thought was fine, but the build up to it was nothing.
Yeah,
it was nothing. They didn't do anything.
They got a lot of support for that. They were like, you're the first cartoon.
Well, I'm in support for it. I'm not in support for the way they wrote it. They need to write it where I wanted more of like...
Well, because there was too much... Because both of the girls both loved the same guy.
Yeah, which was also weird, by the way.
But then that guy's brother also loved Korra for the longest time.
And probably Asami?
Yeah.
Asami? I don't know.
Asami,
yeah. Probably loved Asami too, because let's face it, I mean, she's probably hot in the cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me,
she's gorgeous.
I jerk off still to it.
No, I mean, I don't do that, but she's gorgeous.
But I do.
For a cartoon character, she's gorgeous.
Yeah. But it's like Jessica Rabbit. So they did this whole thing where it just happens at the end, and I saw the build-up at the end too, because they did it in the last season.
Yeah.
That's when they decided when she only wrote the note to Asami.
Yeah.
It made sense, but it also made sense that they were really good friends.
Well, and it was a thing where they kept on getting closer and closer as friends.
Yeah.
But there wasn't ever any of those like long lingering looks. There wasn't like a hand on their face. There wasn't those like comforting scenes. Like
what you
getting
expect.
closer. Yeah.
What you expect to see in a love story, and that's why I was mad at it. That's the only reason, because I was like, I want more. You gotta build this up better.
Like you can't just like make them hold hands and then like she's lesbian. And it's like
in the comics, it goes a little bit more.
Yeah, it does go more.
It gets weird, actually. She gets really possessive and stuff. And
I actually
I'm like, Korra, why are you like so
comics?
weird and possessive all the time? Why did they write her character so shitty?
I only read the Avatar comics just because I needed to know what happened to Zuko's mom.
Yeah.
Which that was a...
Yeah. Spoilers. Amazing. Spoilers, he finds his mom.
Yes.
Spoilers.
And spoilers, Zuko isn't Ozai's son.
Nope, yeah, spoilers. Who's his dad?
Some random theater guy.
I was really hoping it would be...
He was a firebender who was just a theater actor.
I was really hoping it would be Uncle Iroh. That would have been really...
Or Iroh's son.
No, that wouldn't have made sense. Uncle Iroh's only a little bit older than his brother.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. No. But it would have made more sense why Uncle Iroh treats him that way and why he doesn't really like his brother all that much. That would have been such a game-changing thing. But we're
going way off topic.
We're rambling. All right, guys. If you like that, really go on. If you want to hear more about us talking about how we agree with lesbians and don't agree with certain aspects of storytelling about lesbians and gays, please let us know. Leave a comment. Apple Podcasts are really important for their algorithm. We need support. We need all this stuff. We don't want to keep picking games every week. It's getting harder and harder.
Yes, I've got a list, but we're getting through that list the more and more we're going, and we're trying to get a little bit ahead, which is shortening our list further and further out. Which next week we are doing Sonic.
Yep, Sonic and Sonic 2, and if we can get to it. Yes. Sonic 1 has been a pain in the ass so far.
I hate it.
We have tried so much.
I hate it.
But you'll hear all about that next week.
It's the worst.
Yeah. And hopefully we get the Sonic 2. I was actually going to bring this up. At some point we should do Sonic XD.
Okay.
One of the best Sonic games ever made.
Okay. I want to play a good Sonic game.
Compared to the first two Sonic, and the second Sonic is really a lot of fun. But compared to those, that game is fucking amazing.
Okay.
But
everyone tell us what your favorite Sonic game is.
Yeah, seriously, and maybe we'll play it. If you say it's something bad, I'm not going to fucking play it, so fuck off.
All right.
Yeah. So, no, because I know people, the trolls would be like, play, what's the Sonic game with the fucking psychic guy?
Sonic Heroes or...
It might be Sonic Heroes, where you play as Sonic, Shadow, and the psychic one from the future, and it's fucking horrible. It was like...
not the worst.
They tried their best, and it was just fucking horrible.
I haven't played most of the Sonic games because of these reasons.
Yeah.
But...
All right, guys. Well, again, thanks for listening. Leave comments, reviews, give us games, tell us we suck, whatever.
we love you.
We love you.
So
bye.
much. Bye.